It's very good to be here, and also in the preparation of the previous presenter. So I guess we are all having the same challenges in different kinds, in different ways. It's first the most important thing to acknowledge it. One thing is actually on the green side of house. It's really the global warming, what we need to deal with. So we can overcome the challenges only after we acknowledge it. Now, BYOD is actually a trend, what some people also refer to as a consumerized IT, or at least driven by a consumerized IT, could mean two different things. BYOD could mean bring your own device, and also, what is also not less important, it could mean also bring your optimized device. Because different users have different preferences and different verticals have different demands. So it's more the question on how we deal actually with that. Now, when we're looking at it from one perspective, it's a lot about mobility. But it's by far not all about mobility. It is not just the mobility where you have a mobile device what you roam around with. It is also the advantage, what is on the IT side sometimes a disadvantage if you don't have it controlled well enough, that you do use multiple devices. So people are no longer referring to one device as their working tool, they refer to multiple devices. And that's another part of mobility. It's also the presence. Which way do I communicate? Which way am I available? So this very much depends on the endpoint. So when we talk about communication, real-time communication or near real-time communication, it very much depends on what endpoint you're using at a given time, what you can actually then communicate with. And the IT is really in the center of all that development, sometimes enforced by the end user, but sometimes also driving that initiative or helping the enterprise to drive that initiative to make it, to take it to their advantage. To bring it to their advantage, better to say. So it's a balance, what we need to see, where we have on one side the challenges, no doubt about it, there are challenges. But on the other side, it's also greatly rewarding. We can increase the productivity with bring your own device or bring your optimized device. We can really improve the efficiency and also the end user satisfaction, because different people, different functions, different ways of doing business demand different tools we are doing business with. And sometimes it's as simple as a different time. If I'm going out at night for dinner, I might not have my PC with me. Mostly I don't. So I want to have the same access on my mobile phone. And it might not be even my business mobile phone, it might be my personal mobile phone. What we see here is basically the CIO's challenges. But again, just to remind you, it's not just a challenge. Each challenge brings opportunity to the table what are quite significant in terms of increased productivity, what are also helping us to explore different business models. Some companies even think of changing the face and changing the processes and how they do business with that new opportunity. The challenge, number one, in my opinion, is to authenticate. Authenticate not just the content, what we basically share with our users, also first and foremost, identifying the end user. Now with bring your own device, that's something what is not entirely under control from IT. We need to live with that. And we need to secure that part of the device, what is actually interacting with my corporation, in order to secure the user is the right one, and also to ensure that the content exchange with that user is the right one. When we think about that, we have one device what we can either split in two different worlds, where we have actually a private segment what we are working with. That's our day-to-day private business. This is our private chat. This is our communication with the family while traveling and things like that. But it's definitely, it is the business side as well. And those two need to be secured from each other, so that also on the reverse, the business side cannot necessarily look into the private side of things. And for licensing issues, the software running on that system is also about to be managed and led in a different way. We have to build it all around the policy. What has to be very clearly defined, and this will help us a lot going forward. Taking a policy and making it then, at a later stage, an architecture what is really reaching end to end. From one side, where we have actually quality of experience. I would call it quality of experience really, because the user wants to experience multiple channel of communication. Now, the multiple channel of communication could mean, on one side, a video surveillance camera, what I need to get a picture on to my device. So better it is a quality enough picture so that I can identify the person. It could be also something more real-time, more interactive, as simple as a phone call. It could be on the other side also video conferencing, what I do have with that. Or unidirectional thing, mostly unidirectional thing was what is an email. So exchanging very simple email data with that. But that all needs to be a quality of experience. So really dealing with the application in the most qualitative way so that the user has the best experience. For some people, it is really important to see certain traffic traveling faster and other traffic going slower. And for the other person, for the other user, it's working the other way around. Yeah? So we need to make it also user profile dependent. Now in the networking side of things, things are going always faster. They are basically increasing bandwidth, capacity, what the network can actually deal with, the data center can deal with. So now we can actually live a lot faster lives, but we still need to worry about the quality of service and the stability of the infrastructure and how sustainable and ready for growth it is. And then the management side. Let's just assume, and this is basically, the other slide shows it a little better, let's just assume a normal cycle on a hiring, on an onboarding situation, where I do hire actually some new employees. They need to get up to speed easily and very quickly with bringing their own device to the business. So securing a shell is actually something quite easy to do, but it needs to be managed properly. So we need to profile that user, we need to authenticate this user, and also making clear what content he is dealing with, what content he can actually access, and how we basically make sure that he gets it in the most secured way. But also the other way around, when I basically think about some contractors, when their contract is finished, we want to make very sure that we take actually all those services away from him. Not just from a license point of view, what is referring to the applications he's running, also from a content point of view. So we need to really manage that shell in the best possible way, and therefore need to think about this whole life cycle. Now, users are not willing really to learn. Therefore, at Huawei, we're taking much control of a new experience, a new user experience. We want to have it as an intuitive user interface. Wherever you go, whatever communication channel you're using at a time, it should be intuitive, and it should be the same look and feel according also to the enterprise profile. So it is this 4-in-1 where you have actually, no matter if you have a voice call, no matter if you do have an instant messaging, or if you have a video conference, or you just collaborate over a topic, you should have the same look and feel. And you should have those things to be used or to be available for you, what are most of interest for you at this given time. And user interface, there are many examples out in the industry showing that the user experience is really one of the things what makes it or breaks it when it comes to the adoption at the enterprise users, as much as in the consumer market. Now, talking about a couple of more points when we talk about the terminal side of things. It can be terminals dedicated to a user, but it can be also terminals what are shared amongst many users. When we think about a telephony system, where it's in the enterprise side of things, you go into the enterprise, you log into a telephone, and then it becomes yours. So you are not just the user, what is basically registered with the phone, you are also available at that phone. So it plays right into the presence, so it becomes your device. Now when it comes to a smartphone, what is mostly with you, it's a different topic. This might be more of a log on and off process. But then the network needs to be also aware many ways of your location, so that you can actually not just see that he is registered as a user and authorized and available, so also where he is available, so that you can deal with the time zone and all these sort of things. And that all very much serviced then in the data center side. We are not just talking about the bring your own device. Bring your own device is also a major initiative at Huawei, where we are pushing very hard. We're going extremely hard on bring your own device for the main reason of productivity. We want to increase productivity. We want to also have more and more mobile operation. And we also see that the customer, the user satisfaction is going up. And that basically results again into a more productive environment. So it's the optimized, again, the optimized experience, and it's also the own device experience, where you have parts what are definitely distinct and clearly defined for the business on your machine, but also the other parts what is basically meant to be only used by your own